Good morning, everyone. It is February 10th. Kind of a overcast, a little bit drippy, rainy day. I'm gonna take another different route to work. Look at this nice house. It's real pretty. Love that house. Yep, so getting on a walk today, showing a little bit more of our neighborhood. Cute dog. Yeah. So a little insight on what's going on. Yeah, I'm getting real anxious and antsy to really have my first experience, like with an incident. I wanted to say one thing. So I went to a Blazer game a few weeks back, and this is after a bunch of hours of watching all these audit videos that are going on, and I go into the sports arena, our Moda Center, and for the usually when I personally go into a space that has like 1,000 or more cops, or even 100 or even 10, I get very anxious, high stress. They all have guns. They all have the ability to take my life, and or kidnap me and put me in a dungeon, and for kind of what seems to be usually whatever they feel like. And so usually I feel very paranoid just anywhere around cops. And I just, after all these audit videos, walking into this arena and just groups of cops everywhere, I actually, for once in my life, felt secure in myself. I felt like I had this shield around me that, like, no matter what happens, I sort of understand now the full scope of what my rights entail. And for once in my life, I was not afraid at all of cops. For the first time in my life, being an adult, that is, I was not afraid. And that felt really good. It was so liberating. So liberating. So what I would recommend is, anybody that has the mind, man, just grab your camera. Well, first of all, learn and understand what your rights are. Oh, that little birdie. And once you do that, once you understand how to exercise your right, then, if you feel like doing some good, take your camera out and go video. So yeah, I'm taking you over this little area. I wanted to walk down and show you this cool train car down here. Here's our electrical substation. I think maybe that might be a good spot to do an audit. There's not many people around. We got these huge cell towers. And that'd be one thing. You figure, like up on Mount Hood, I would love to live up on Mount Hood. I always thought, well, crap, being up there and having to drive into the city to work isn't very economical. How can you help that? I figure, well, maybe at one point, if you get the right piece of property, you can offer it to a cell phone company to put a tower on it, and then you can get paid by the company for doing that. That'd be awesome. So yeah, we get into our little bike path area, kind of off from our store. I figured this is kind of an interesting thing to look at. So there's a cool couple of railroad cars that they have behind this barbed wire, or sorry, this razor wire fence. Used to be only one, and I don't know when actually they put the second one in, but I love how some people end up taking things like this and making a house into it. Isn't that cool? Yeah, that's just one interesting thing in our neighborhood. Right by our bike path. So this right over here is like the super insane, super expensive, high-end $1 million houses on this thing. I'll have to walk through there one day. I don't have time today. This tree is just magnificent. Look at this. Just huge. Like, I don't know, you can't really tell the full scope and breadth of how big this damn tree is until you can see, maybe you can see me. This thing is massive. Massive. So yeah. Alright, well I am gonna be a few minutes late because I took this little extra way in the opposite direction, so I'm gonna mosey towards my shop and look at this cool building. OWP and A Company, substation, 1905. So this building was built in 1905. Hello.
Version of Boulder.
People just love running and biking in this town. For, I mean, we're rainy here, but we're still very much an outdoorsy Portland community. Yeah, I mean, I basically, I'm sure most places have a lot of things to do, but in Portland we've got Mount Hood is basically 40 miles away. You're on top of Hood, on top of a whole different, basically it's like you're on another planet because it's such a huge volcano. Tahoe's incredible and all. It's a lot of it's mountain ridges that are immense and awe-striking, but Mount Hood is just one flippin' volcano that's just massive, and it just feels way different. It's its own animal. So yeah, we have Mount Hood. So summertime, of course, you got lots of lakes up there, lots of fishing, lots of rivers, lots of hiking and camping, and tons of trails for biking. It's such a great forest. One of my favorite forests is the Mount Hood National Forest. Oh, here's the monkey tree. This is such a weird tree. You can't really tell, but it's like it's really weird looking branches. Yeah, so like I was saying, Mount Hood is really awesome. And besides Mount Hood, you've got so many rivers, river spots. We have our Clackamas River, and so if you like any sort of like rafting, or if you, we have our our Willamette River right here close in this neighborhood even, the one that runs right through the middle of Portland. People paddleboard all the time. It's just, there's a lot to do in the summer here. In the winter time, of course, you've got Mount Hood. You have four, five, something like that. 3 big ski resorts up on Mount Hood. Mount Hood Meadows is the big one, the extreme. They have, a lot of different triple, double, triple black diamond runs. I have Timberline Lodge, which is Timberline is the place where the building that you see on the movie The Shining. Timberline Lodge is that building. It's got a great place to stay. Skiing is really good there too. A lot of terrain, not as steep as Meadows generally. And then you have Ski Bowl. Ski Bowl has one of the largest night skiing operations in America. And it is such a fun little place, man. I don't know if any of you know Tahoe, but like Homewood or maybe Alpine Meadows would be about the same kind of equivalent to what the feel of Ski Bowl is like. Real fun. Their night skiing is so great. It's like just being in a amusement park. There's people hooting and hollering and woo, doing that kind of a thing all over the place. Love Ski Bowl. Haven't really got to do much riding the last 2 years. Last year we did take Elijah up, got him on a snowboard for his first time, not skis, and on his first run down the mountain after being on the bunny hill, he was kind of sitting down taking a break, and a snowboard came from above him flying down the hill without somebody on it, and it smacked into the back of his wrist basically, and it broke his arm. So he had his first time snowboarding, he broke his arm, and it wasn't even his fault. So that was a pretty bummer. And then this year we haven't been able to effort and afford getting up there yet. So I was kind of bummed out about that, but what can you do?